Now you're probably thinking to yourself as a PC gamer, why are the PC parts that came out in the past rising in price?
Shepard, just look at the state of gaming. Like, what is going on?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we're getting into for this specific segment. As if you don't know, when it comes to DDR5, of course, as far as the RAM, it's been 4.4 times higher since July 25th, a month-over-month increase of 27%. And when you look at DDR4, it's close behind, as month-to-month has been rising 46%. In the previous month, it was 30% in growth, well, in rise as far as price. And then, of course, it's been 3.2 times higher since July 2025.
You guys, see, that's the problem.
There's been a plethora of deals in the past 2 years to where I'll be able to make this as simple as I can, especially for those wondering why in the world is PC parts that came out 3 to 4 years ago rising in price. So, of course, I do want to finish off by saying that the average RAM price increase versus September 2025 has been over 344%. So with that being said, safe to say this is why I wanted to cover it, because it is definitely a very interesting epidemic, if that's the word, of a fluctuation of prices, especially for PC parts. And the main reason, in my opinion, is over something I covered September 23rd, 2025, as NVIDIA invested up to $100 billion, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, with the B, $100 billion in chatbot GPT owner OpenAI. So basically, it leads the owner to be able to create new AI breakthroughs. But as we've seen, it's only hurting the consumer as of right now, because of these multi-billion-dollar conglomerates buying up all the PC parts, is making the scarcity to the point where the people who sell these parts have to raise it in price. Because, of course, now if you don't have any PC parts to sell, safe to say they'll be out of business. So they was like, how do we counteract that? Oh, let's raise the price on the remaining PC parts that we do have. So anyways, as far as that deal definitely has affected a lot of PC part prices. And of course, you have Microsoft plus NVIDIA and Anthropic, which happened November 2025, which combined up to $15 billion investment in Microsoft and NVIDIA, which $5 billion into Microsoft, $10 billion into NVIDIA. Anthropic commits to $30 billion plus Azure Compute, which is NVIDIA powered. So now, when you look at these conglomerates coming together basically to buy out the most powerful PC parts for AI, safe to say the consumer is left with the is left with the short end of the stick. Because of course, as far as other deals that went through, Amazon and Anthropic, Google Anthropic, and then of course OpenAI mega round as far as $40 billion raised at $300 billion valuation, led by SoftBank, Microsoft, and others. Safe to say, everybody who is getting a mammoth amount of revenue as far as a company is diving into these NVIDIA-like companies, because of course they're trying to improve the AI quicker than their competition. So that basically left us, the common man, out of the loop. So now that we have to pay for other already well-off companies buying up the PC parts that was really meant for the everyday consumer like you and me, because they want to be the person that has the best AI. That's literally why we're out here, you know, left with the short end of the stick as far as prices. So anyways, to get into the market valuation, because of course, over here at Notorious Mass Effect, we do get into the gaming and music IPs that notoriously affect the masses. But safe to say, this also is going to affect the masses, because if you don't know, as a PC gamer, RAM is pretty important. You know, DDR5, DDR4, if you know exactly what that is, guess what? Not only are you a nerd, just like me, but you understand how important this is for your console to run at an efficient level, especially when playing games that are more taxing on your hardware. So as far as the market, as far as the market, when you look at Germany is Europe's largest PC hardware market. And now, when you look at it being retail only tracking, meaning no scalpers, people are finding it a representation of global pricing trends. And basically, to make this simple, because I know a lot of people may get lost by that, when you look at the price points, some companies are trying to make it consumer friendly, but other companies are literally coming out and saying, hey, all these companies are buying up all our RAM for the evolution of AI. So now we have to charge more for the average person because we can't just be out of PC parts with nothing to sell. So not to be a broken clock, but let's go into the root of the cause, right? AI. I said not be a broken clock. And then we're going to get back into the main reason. So AI data center demands consuming DRAM, basically RAM, and HBM supply, which is high bandwidth memory. And that's prioritized over consumer RAM, meaning that now you have limited clean room space as far as a lot of manufacturers out there. And as far as expansion, it's going to require years and massive capital. So people are thinking that maybe in 2027, we'll get to the point where we'll be able to counteract these price hikes. But of course, it's really not confirmed. A lot of people coming out and say, oh, we can get over this around 2027. You don't know what these billionaires' plans are as far as how much RAM they want to buy and how long it's going to take. So as far as waiting for a potential 2027 supply reset or relief, I don't know if that's going to happen because the demand may be persistent amongst the rich conglomerates out there. So what I would say is, it may sound like the worst advice ever, but I would buy now if you want to build a PC, because it's only going to get worse as far as further price increase. Now, when you come to other options, you could opt for lower capacity builds or DDR4 when possible. But as far as getting the highest upgrade, that may be a little extreme. But I will try to get the next to highest, because I'm not going to lie to you. A year from now, 2 years from now, it may be exponentially more expensive because of the influx of companies trying to have the best AI. So now, when you look at solutions for the people who's causing the problem in the first place, which is the companies diving or just basically dumping all this money into AI, into RAM companies like NVIDIA, the solutions for them is to, one, stop being greedy. Like, all of y'all can't have the best AI. Like, somebody has to tell them that there's a Google, there's an Amazon, and there's a Microsoft. There's not a bunch of other different sites that we on as far as web browsing. Like, there has to be the top three, and then the rest of y'all got to chill out so the consumers don't have to deal with the price increase because y'all want to buy up everything to have the best AI in the market. But other than that, you could design with less RAM.
Shepard.
Nah, that's just a crazy a revelation, right? The companies, the greedy, capitalist companies out there, they could try to design with less RAM. Just food for thought. And of course, they're going to say it's impossible. But at the end of the day, you will see more and more companies going this route, because at some point they're not going to be able to compete with the arms race, because that's essentially what it is. A lot of these conglomerates are making an arms race to buy up all of this RAM so that they can improve AI. And the NVIDIA investment just shows that, because, of course, why in the world would NVIDIA team up with OpenAI if it's not the perfect partnership to make the ultimate AI? NVIDIA has the RAMs. OpenAI is seemingly, as far as chatbot, the best AI on the market. So now $100 billion just pops up out of nowhere because they want to collaborate. You tell me what they're trying to do. It's basically an arms race, and the consumers are dealing with the brunt of the repercussions. So now, I think when it comes to the RAM prices, when it comes to the prioritizing RAM, the only way we could get around this as consumers is to essentially stick with our current build. Now, I know that's not something you want to hear. One of my favorite content creators of all time, the Black Hokage, he consistently goes on a tirade against people who only had PS4 consoles. As time goes on and these things start to get more expensive, that may be the route to go. That may be the way to go for people who cannot afford next-gen consoles, who can't afford to upgrade their PC. You may just have to stick with your current console and just wait it out. And I think with PS4 already holding on to a certain majority of the player base, to the point where I think just last year, PS5 had that 51% as far as PS4 is 49% as far as PlayStation player base. PS5's been dealing with PS4 players not wanting to upgrade. Now, with this whole continuation of conglomerates buying up RAM, I think it's going to be across the board. People do not want to upgrade the PC ever because of the prices being exorbitant. So if you do have a lot of PC parts, well, I ain't going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do with it because that'll be anti-consumer. But hey, you may have to do what you do. Make the puzzle pieces connect. But if you have a lot of PC parts, safe to say, this may be the perfect time for you. Let's just leave it at that. So at the end of the day, that's as simple as I can make it. Basically, the conglomerates are buying a bunch of RAM, which is why consumers have to pay for it because now it's scarcity from a lot of different retailers. And the only way to counteract that from a retailer's perspective is to make the prices more exorbitant. So as far as what I started off with, as far as the month-over-month increases, as far as, let me see. Yeah, for DDR5, it's been a month-to-month increase of 27%, and that's from December to January this year. So these are recent numbers. DDR4 month-to-month increase of 46%. So that's why I say either buy now or keep your current build or your current rig, because at the end of the day, nobody is going to look out for your best interest at heart from a capitalistic company perspective. They do not care that you have to bear the brunt of the increased RAM prices. They're going to keep these type of deals going through, like the NVIDIA, like the Microsoft and NVIDIA, like the Amazon and Anthropic, like Google and Anthropic. They're going to keep these type of deals going and basically just say to all the consumers out there, they got to pay the increased price of RAM because of it. So that being said, hopefully I broke it down in a simple fashion. If not, definitely leave a comment below, because I've been starting to respond to more of my comments. So I'm going to start doing that more often. I totally forgot Spotify had that feature. You know me, podcasting for years. Totally forgot about that. But anyways, so yeah, comment down below. How do you think consumers can counteract this? And let's band together to come up with some actual solutions, so we don't just, just cast it out by the multi-billion-dollar companies out there. So that being said, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about RAM price crisis, especially in the going into the foreseeable future? And what is the best way you believe we as a consumer can counteract these RAM price increases?